gamers, if you're ready for a head-to-head magical battle, then you want to check out Clash of Magic Schools. Let's take a look at how this one plays. In this game, players are trying to win the Tournament of Sorcerers by putting students out at different arenas, casting spells, and trying to get the most trial points. They'll start each turn by drawing 3 students from the deck and adding them to their hand. There is no hand limit, but there is a spell that can make players discard cards from their hand, so they will want to be careful with that. Then they can take as many actions as they can afford to and want to, most of which can be done multiple times in a turn, but one of them can only be done once. They can discard cards to move their emblem to one of the different arenas. They can assign students to the arena where they are if they want to. They can assign as many as they want, all different colors if they want. None of that matters. They can pass a trial, so if they have their emblem somewhere and there is an appropriate number trial available, they can pass that. It always has to go up by 1 unless they cast a spell that lets them skip levels. They can summon students, which is moving students from one arena to another, and they can cast a spell as long as they have a group of at least 3 students where they are of the same color. Then they can discard the one that is flanked by the other 2 students in order to cast their appropriate spell. These spells will let them discard their opponent's trials, skip trial levels when they are trying to perform trials. They can steal other students, steal other trials, things of that nature in order to try and win the game. At the end of their turn, they will draw 2 trials from the deck and put them on their side of the stack, with the higher number being on top. Players will continue to go back and forth until somebody is able to reach 15 points while the other person has less than 9. And if they have more than 9 while somebody has 15, they'll go into an overtime, which changes the end game condition just a little bit. At the end of the game, the player with the most points is the winner. I thought this game was neat. I think that it has some really good card play, back and forth, kind of tug of war feeling to it, which is nice. Some of the spells that you can cast are a little bit more interesting than others, and a couple of them are a little frustrating because, for example, one of them lets you discard trials, but instead of actually discarding them, you just put them back on top of the pile. So somebody's losing points, but you're also not really ticking toward the end of the game that much. So that's a little bit annoying to me, because I wish that you could just keep going a little bit more, even if you are discarding points from one side or the other. But again, I think overall the game does have a nice tug of war. You're going to be stealing students back and forth, discarding trials, gaining trials, all that kind of thing, in order to try and get those points before the other player can, and also making sure that they have little enough points that the game will actually end and not go into overtime. But even when the game does go into overtime, it doesn't last that much longer, because usually you're at that point where you're going to be hitting those other end game conditions pretty quickly after that. So if you like head-to-head kind of card games with a little bit of hand management, a little bit of set collection, and again, a little bit of take that because you are going to be messing with each other's sides of the boards, then it's definitely a cool little game with a fun theme. But you can check out my full thoughts on the blog today to decide if this one's for you.